Welcome to the deep dive. Trying to navigate the Bitcoin market, it can feel overwhelming, right? Like trying to read a map during a storm with all the daily noise pulling you everywhere. But what if you had someone really seasoned to point you towards true north, those longer term signals that just cut through it all? Well, today we're incredibly lucky. We have Mr. Chi with us, who's truly seen it all: market cycles, crashes, the big comebacks. He's the brilliant mind behind this particular analysis we're getting into. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, my goal for you today is pretty straightforward. Let's simplify things. The big picture for Bitcoin, well, if you look at it the right way, it's actually pretty clear. So, yeah, let's break that down.
That sounds fantastic, just what we need. So, okay, straight away then. Looking at that macro view, what's the main bias? Where do things stand for Bitcoin right now?
Right. So, fundamentally, Bitcoin's moving inside a specific structure. It's a three-day regression channel. And when you view it through that lens, the bias is just, well, it's up, clearly up. Now, this isn't about predicting every little wiggle. It's about understanding the dominant force, the main trend. And that stays true, really, no matter how the market choppy gets on the way there.
Okay, so you're saying even if the path involves some detours, maybe some bumps, the high time frame destination is still up.
Exactly. That's it, precisely. Think of it like having a destination plugged into your GPS. There might be a few different routes, right? Maybe it's just a simple range, sideways for a bit, then up. Or we could see a quick front-run price pushes hard, maybe pulls back slightly, then the bigger move comes. Or, a classic double bottom pattern could form. Maybe even a little dip, a slightly lower low to shake people out before we head higher.
Yeah.
Look, this whole process, it could take weeks, maybe even months. But the high time frame, the HTF direction, it's consistently pointing upwards.
All roads lead to bullish continuation, essentially.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's such a helpful way to frame it, especially, for those of us who get easily distracted by the day-to-day swings. You mentioned something interesting before, that the market structure is loading, not exploding. Could you maybe unpack that a bit? What does that mean for us needing to be patient?
Yeah, it's a really key difference. Loading, not exploding.
Yeah.
It's about how energy builds up. Think about like coiling a spring. It gets tighter and tighter,
Yeah.
right? It's storing potential energy, not releasing it yet. That's kind of what's happening. And high time frame analysis, it just absolutely demands patience. These big, important setups, they don't just appear overnight. You can see they're building, they're in process.
Right, right. So with that in mind, are there specific key zones on the chart you're watching really closely? And importantly, how should we think about approaching them?
Okay, yeah. So I've marked out some key trigger levels. These are based on what I call reclaim setups.
Hmm.
They aren't just random lines. They're important price points, old support, old resistance. And a reclaim means the market's basically taking back that strong position. Now, my approach here is when price actually crosses one of these levels, you don't just jump in, you wait. You wait for confirmation on the low time frame, the LTF.
Okay.
That part is crucial for keeping rich managed. If that LPF confirmation fails, if it gets invalidated, you just step aside. Simple as that. It keeps your risk super tight, but you're still respecting that bigger HDF picture. It's about being smart with your entries, not just, chasing price.
That leads perfectly into, I think, a really critical question for anyone trying to stay disciplined here. What's the point where it all breaks down? Like, where would you personally say, okay, hold on, this bullish idea isn't holding up anymore for Bitcoin?
For me, it's actually quite clear, quite simple. The bullish case breaks if we start seeing a lower highs only structure. What I mean is if Bitcoin breaks down from where we are now, and then every bounce, every rally attempt just fails to make a new high. It just keeps printing these weaker, lower peaks. That's when you know the bullish case is in trouble. It tells you there's a fundamental lack of buying strength on that macro level.
That's super helpful, having that clear line in the sand. So for those of us maybe watching the charts a bit too closely every day, how do we stop ourselves from getting, shaken out by all the inevitable short-term noise with Bitcoin?
You just have to keep reminding yourself this analysis, what we're talking about, it's high time frame. It is not low time frame. Sure, you might trade on the LTF daily. That's tactical. That's different. But this discussion, this is your big map, your guiding star, if you like. Don't ever confuse a few bad hours or, heck, even a few rough days with a broken trend. The macro map always, always overrides the micro noise. You have to remember that. So maybe the final thought I'd leave you with is just this. Be patient. Seriously.
Yeah.
Let the market show its hand. Because that overall bias, it's pretty clear. The path just needs time to actually unfold.
Right. So the key things for you to take away from this deep dive: Really focus on that high time frame as your main map. Use that 3-day regression channel as your guide. Remember those different bullish ways things could play out, and maybe most importantly, that single clear invalidation point we just discussed, the lower highs structure. Look, the journey might take a while, but the underlying direction for Bitcoin still points up. And sometimes patience really is the key to, well, to profound understanding. Thanks for joining us.